For millions of young people all across India, getting a government job is more than just a career. It's security, it's stability, it's the culmination of years of hard work. But what happens when the very system you trust to make that dream come true just completely breaks down? Okay, so let's get right into it. We're talking about the Staff Selection Commission, the SSC. It's one of India's biggest, most important recruitment bodies. And right now, it's been rocked by a massive crisis. We're talking huge technical failures, people protesting in the streets, and even shocking claims of organized fraud. And that's the big question, right? You see these images, and you have to wonder what could push things this far. So to get to the bottom of it, we need to unpack what exactly went wrong, see how it all blew up so fast, and figure out what this whole mess tells us about the trust we have in our institutions. So first things first, just how big of a deal was this? Well, you just have to look at the public reaction. And this wasn't just a handful of angry tweets. No, this became a full-blown movement. It all started where a lot of things do these days, online. The hashtag @SCMmismanagement just exploded. But that anger didn't just stay behind a screen. It spilled out onto the streets with this Delhi Chalo movement. You had thousands of students gathering, just asking for answers. And then things got really tense. Video started circulating of police using lathi charges, batons, on the protesters. And that just fueled the fire even more.
So what on earth caused all this anger? To really get it, we've got to rewind and look at the one event that started it all, the exam itself. The exam in question was the Selection Post Phase 13 exam. It was supposed to run for about a week from late July into early August. But from day one, from the very first session, reports started pouring in from all over the country about major problems. By the time the exam period was over, the whole thing was just an absolute mess. And look, we're not talking about small glitches here. The failures were almost unbelievable. The biometric scanners that are supposed to prove who you are, they weren't working. People couldn't even log into the computers. For others, can you imagine? The screen just went blank right in the middle of the test. In some places, they just canceled the exam with no reason given. Students who'd spent years prepping for this day were just told, sorry, the paper will not happen today. Just imagine how devastating that must feel.
Okay, so with all this happening, protests getting louder, the media all over the story, the SSC had to do something. They had to respond, but the solution they came up with, well, it didn't exactly calm anyone down. The chairman of the SSC held a press conference and laid it out crystal clear. The entire exam will not be canceled. And that statement, right there, put the SSC on a direct collision course with the protesters, who felt like the only fair thing to do was to scrap the whole thing and start over. So, what was the compromise from the SSC? A retest. But, and this is a big but, only for the students who were affected. That number was estimated to be as high as 55,000 people. They also postponed another big exam, the CGL, so they clearly knew they had a big problem on their hands. But for the protesters, this just wasn't enough. It felt like trying to put a Band-Aid on a sinking ship. But this is where the story takes a turn. Because the technical problems, as bad as they were really just the tip of the iceberg. As people started digging, it looked like this might not just be about incompetence. The tech failures were one thing. You could maybe chalk that up to really bad management. But as investigators started looking closer, a much darker possibility started to surface. What if this wasn't just about things breaking down? What if it was about organized, intentional cheating? And that's when they uncovered what the media started calling a solver gang. Now get this. This wasn't just some individual trying to cheat. This was a coordinated, sophisticated operation set up to beat the entire system for the right price. The evidence was pretty stunning. In one state, police busted a gang that was literally using remote desktop software from a hotel room to log in and take the exam for other candidates. But it gets even crazier. A separate police report, an FIR, was filed over something else entirely. Allegations that someone was tampering with the official recruitment lists. Let that sink in for a second. That suggests the fraud wasn't just an outside job. It might have had connections deep inside the system itself. So, this all brings us back to the real heart of the crisis. This isn't just about a botched exam anymore. It's about a complete breakdown of trust, a loss of faith in a system that literally holds the key to millions of people's futures. So the protesters came back with 3 really clear core demands. Number 1, transparency. Open the books, show us how the system actually works. 2, fix the tech, not just for now, but for good. And 3, accountability. The people responsible for this disaster need to be held to account. You see, they're not just asking for a simple do-over. They want the entire system to be reformed. And that leaves us right here, at a complete standoff. On one side, you had the SSC saying a targeted retest is the most practical solution. But on the other, you have the protesters arguing that the whole exam is compromised by both failure and fraud, and that the only way to restore any sense of fairness is to cancel the whole thing and start completely fresh. This isn't just a logistics problem anymore. It's a fundamental question. When the very system designed to build your future is the thing that breaks it, what does it take to ever trust it again?